Hello, 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 and welcome. You are watching Ace Comic Con, Ace Universe. We have an amazing conversation today with the Salma Hayek. Hello.
Hello, Angélique. I'm so happy to be here.
I am so happy that you are here. You've had, well, one, you've had an outstanding career, but also a very exciting 2021. A lot of things happening. You've always been a superhero to some folks, but you are now a Marvel superhero, and a pretty incredible one with some dope powers. So I got to start off easy question. What does it feel like to be a Marvel superhero?
I was worried what would it feel like to be part of this Marvel universe, and I was so pleasantly surprised because I thought it's cool, but it's either going to be like a cult or it's going to be like a machine that it's like very robotic. And to my surprise, it just felt like a family.
Yeah.
It felt like a family, and they're kind and lovely and smart, and they hear you, and I really like them. I really like them.
Yeah. And I love the fact, and for those who do not know, we were talking about Marvel Studios' The Eternals, which was an incredible movie. I have seen it multiple times. And before we start getting a little bit into that and talk about Ajak, before Marvel, you've had such an incredible career. You've done a multitude of genres. You've been in front of the camera, behind the camera. You've directed several music videos. You've got daytime Emmys. Like, I literally could go on and on and on. Like, you've done choreography. What for you in your career has kind of driven you and like fueled your desire to continue to like learn and grow and use every single part of your brain and like being to create?
I think that how I design my a path where there is no path is by using all the things that apparently are working against me.
Hmm.
And because I had so many things working against me, it's given me the opportunity to have many different paths. You see, if I had everything going for me in one thing, it just I would have just follow everybody else's path. But um, I didn't try to change my accent and pretend to be white and you know put contact lenses and blonde hair. I kind of like embraced it and said, "There's something wrong with the fact that there's not a place for me here." And even like when I sold Ugly Betty, they rejected it, everybody, many times. And then I went to the advertising companies and I showed them the numbers, a whole study. And I contacted many organizations to get this study of the power of consumption of all the Latinos in the United States. And I said, wouldn't you like these people to buy your product? Because there's nothing, there's no programming for this specific audience. And so I sold it first to them, and then I went back to a studio to ABC, who was the one that was the most interested. And not only they say yes, we're interested. Actually, the advertiser said we'll pay for this show. Except that then ABC said no, we're now we reconsider. We're gonna produce it ourselves, and then we're gonna sell to them. But so I used the things that would have been working against me, made peace with them, tried to understand them better than anyone else, and then uh, work. It's like an educational process that sometimes takes a long time and many years, but I never give up. And so I also have this. I say to myself, never complain about anything that you never did anything to change. This is my own personal motto. So with this, then, okay, well, there's no projects, there's no scripts, there's no characters. Oh, I'm gonna have to produce. I'm gonna have to write. I'm gonna have to direct. And so it's very, very interesting. It's the challenges really that were the most hard. So the point is to make it short. You learn to do the most that you can with what you've got.
Mm.
And instead of thinking, well, I'm not enough this, I don't have enough of that, I don't, I don't fit in as well, I don't this, I don't that, then pay attention to what is that thing that I don't, or that you diminish about yourself, and think, how do you make it work for you?
I love that. And I think that's like a perfect segue to my next question, which is you've previously said it, and I love it in that every woman is strong, which is such a powerful statement to make. And you've played some incredibly strong women in your time, including Frida Kahlo, Carolina, like Sonia Kincaid, like just incredibly strong women that like women and little girls and people in general can kind of look up at the screen and look up to. You've even played yourself. One of we had a question from one fan about Muppets Most Wanted. Love the movie, and just like now you're playing Ajak. What makes you gravitate towards the roles that you choose?
Well, not all of those roles were strong women when the scripts landed in my hands,
That
but
doesn't surprise me, but it's
they were
interesting
not
to know. Oh,
always strong women. It's like, how do you make that girl stronger? Because that's what we
mm,
needed to see. So again, you fight, you fight, you fight, or you charm, you charm, you charm, you charm, or you fight and charm, until you get. Look, um, Leon Piontivero used to say, they give me chicken shit, and I have to make chicken nuggets with it. And so I have the same situation. Most of the time, they give you chicken shit, and you make the best that you go for the chicken fillet, but it's okay. Chicken nugget, it's already better than the chicken shit.
it's better than where you started.
Yeah.
Now, I love that you say, like, I love how you talk about your characters and the roles and like making these pathways because, you know, while Ajak is a superhero, she is a very different kind of superhero. She's a healer. But she's still incredibly badass. She is like holding a team together. She is a leader. And a number of fans asked, what was your personal preparation in playing this role? Because it is really one of those characters that is extremely layered and very complex.
Yes. This time it was different, Angelique, because I had a female director that is strong, that really heard me out, that is incredibly talented, incredibly smart. So from the beginning, we wanted to make a different kind of leader. And what I understood really well is, you see, I believe that all leaders should be healers, and they forget that that's what they're supposed to do. A true leader heals a society, unites a society, listens to it. It's willing to change or to move around them, because it's a job of service. It's a job of service to others, not to yourself, not to only one kind of people or another kind of people. And really, what you're supposed to do is heal the differences, heal the economy, heal the morale when we go through a pandemic. A leader should be described as a healer. That's their job. But we don't have leaders like that anymore.
Mm.
So that's what was in mind. And the best kind of leader in our experience, it's motherhood. It's mothers. So because you really care for those that you are looking after, and because mothers understand really well that you have to heal them when they are sad, when they are going through bullying, when they don't understand themselves, when they cut their finger, when they break the ankle. It's very important to heal them. And so, even though they are not my children in any way, shape, or form, this is the way that the person in charge of the mission in Eternals, for the Eternals, which is Ajak, deals with the Eternals.
I love it. And it comes across very, very well how much everybody who was involved with the production loved the story and loved the characters. And so here's the thing, the Marvel canon is nearly infinite and there are so many stories, right? I think this goes directly back into kind of what you were saying about this approach that you took with the character. Your portrayal of Ajak was inspired by the creator Jack Kirby, but is really just your unique performance, and that shines through in your answer. Did you have any inspirations? Were there people that you looked to or looked at as you were shaping the character out and like working on molding her?
Oh, I hope this is not taken the wrong way. It's the people that are not there that I molded this character to that to that. It's the leaders that are not that we don't have. She doesn't have to show that she's the smartest or the strongest. She has a lot of compassion. She listens to every single one of them. She has to make impossible decisions. It's never going to be perfect or the right one, but it's you know the energy, the sentiment in which she makes the decisions. It's always to the best interest. She's sincerely doing her very best for the most of them, and sometimes and she's imperfect. And there's a lot of controversial things about her, but she's willing to grow. Not You can say everything about Ajak, but not that she was egotistical. And so it's more molded on who we don't have.
I love that. And I feel like I had a follow-up question, which was, what did you want to communicate through your performance? But I feel like that is absolutely the answer right there. Wow. Okay. So language shapes our world. It brings us together. You know that very well. You're fluent in multiple languages, and throughout your career, the amount of non-English speaking and multilingual, bilingual artists, projects, and producers have increased, thankfully, including Marvel Studios' Eternals. You know, what do you think has been the biggest impact on crossing language boundaries, and why do you think that's important?
I think that language is not just a bunch of different words.
Mm,
They carry a lot of personality of a culture, you know? Even if it's not an entire language, but the way different areas of different kinds of people of the same language talk differently by air, like you go to the South, we were talking, we have something in common, we have Louisiana in common. It's not just the language, it's a spirit, you know?
mm,
It's the spirit. And even with Lauren that does the sign language, and I felt so privileged to have that experience. And there's a whole spirit to it, and it was so fascinating and beautiful. And so, what was the question again? I forgot. I got so excited about talking about languages. That what
I
is the
mean,
benefit of this
yeah,
expansion?
yeah. And why do you think it's important?
Oh yes. So why do I think it's important? Because our brain, the way our brain works, it's by neural net connections. And if you don't have exposure to very different types of stimulation in your brain connection stays really small. and then it gets stuck. It's not flexible. It doesn't continue to grow and send energy to other ones so that it grows, so that you can grow as a person, so that your understanding of the world is bigger, so that your inspiration to be alive and to enjoy things can have different perspectives, so you can have more joy in your life. And the diversity of humans and all the spirit that comes with all this diversity is what enriches you as a human being. So the exposure to all this is extremely important. That's why art is important, because it makes you think outside of the box, makes you think in a different way, see a different perspective and analyze it and go there, and it keeps you flexible. And you know what? It makes you live longer. When you're not stuck, when you're flexible, you live longer.
I love it. And for you, when you look around now, and you kind of talked about this whole concept of when I started, the scripts weren't always great, or I couldn't, it wasn't, the scripts weren't there, the roles weren't
So
there,
they didn't
or
exist.
so when you look around now, and including your work, right? All of the work of all of the folks who have now like push things along. Not as far as I think they should be. I think you probably would agree. We still got some work to do. But like, what, if anything, do you think has really changed in the community and in the industry, like in the filmmaking industry and just art in
And in the
general?
world, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot has changed. And I'm really happy for all these changes. And then sometimes I'm really confused, because when you're there at the beginning and you are hoping for change, you see it in some ways. You see what it would look like. And then as it's happening, there's a lot of areas that it's not exactly how I thought it would be. And so I'm confused. And and I'm okay being confused. I feel no pressure in jumping into anyone's box to have the opinion of this club or the other club. I'm going to continue to observe before I say my opinion. But I will give you one example of something that I think about. My dream, when I wanted to have the possibility to play different parts, my dream was inclusivity.
Mm.
I wanted for people like me to be part in art, to take part in art, and be seen just as a human being. And also maybe to participate in the big events of the world. Like, if the world's about to end, maybe it's nice to have someone like that, like me, that shares some of the way I look and my qualities, to participate in this important moment of humanity. So it was about being included. And I notice that now, in an effort for the political correctness, we are included, but we are included sometimes in other many little boxes. So they take you out on a box that is at the bottom, and they start dividing us in many different boxes. We have a lot of the Latino project, the African American project, the Asian project. Hey, we just want to be a part of the bigger picture. But it's better, it's great, because also it's very good in the terms that we have stories we want to tell that are exclusive to our cultures. Although in the Latin world, there's so many different things, like you have to be Colombian to be in this one, you have to be Puerto Rican. Okay, that's good, but there should be a moment where we're just humans and that you're just seen as a human. And it's not because you're doing something, not because it's the politically correct thing to do, but because you sincerely are interested in that human being,
Mm.
beyond their race, beyond their age, which is what I think Chloe Zhao did with this movie. I think we were cast. She wanted diversity, but she didn't say, "Oh, for this part I want this kind, and for this part the other kind, and I need the top three and four." No, 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 because I was cast at the beginning, and I was talking to her, and she was looking at parts, and she was looking like very different, completely different people for that part, not just one ethnicity or anything like that.
Yeah, and Chloe is, and for lack of a better word, and you know better than I, is extremely intentional in the way she likes to craft stories. So that's, that's pretty incredible. So before I forget, because I know we only have a little bit more time with you, we've got a couple fan questions if you're up
Oh,
for
yay!
it.
I love that. I love that. Yes, please.
All right, so the first question comes from James in M. Eigelhart. What project have you done that meant the most to you?
Frida, because that was definitely the impossible task that everybody laughed at me for wanting to do it, and that I got done. And it was really difficult, and I'm really proud of. And also, a lot of people didn't know who Frida Kahlo was before the movie. No, and also at that time, the people who do did know who she was had an image of her of just like a victim. And I think the movie showed her as a strong woman. And so, to me, more than a movie, that was like a mission in life to do that life story. Oops, the light went. You can still see me, no? I don't
I
look as
got you.
pretty, but yes.
You will always look amazing.
That was
Uh,
Frida. That was Frida being very happy.
she
And
was
here
she
she
was
goes. See?
agreeing with you. And there
Yeah,
she
she's
goes.
agreeing again. We have a ghost in the interview. I love it. It's Frida Kahlo, ladies and gentlemen.
Only
Okay.
appropriate. Um,
Thank
so
you
the
for
blurred
that
girl.
question.
Oh,
I'm
of
sorry,
course,
what were
Jay.
you saying?
Oh, no, no. The blurred girl, Ajak feels like the mother of the Eternals. We kind of talked about this. How has real life motherhood helped you understand more of Ajak's decisions? Oh,
Okay, that's very good because it is true. You told me who did you? I didn't modeled it on myself as a mother, but definitely the inspiration of being that kind of leader was uh, maybe my own experience as a mother and as a stepmother, which is something very important to me. And I feel very blessed to have three stepchildren besides my own daughter, and that they've been so important in my life. And I think that, and not to mention, I've been the mother of so many dogs and cats and horses, alpacas. I I am so blessed with so much love from animals. I remember the other day I was in the kitchen and started to cry. Somebody that works for me said, "What happened?" I know, I just feel so blessed. I just started counting. I can't even count all the animals that have loved me. I have so much, I have been so loved. I think the humans, yes, the humans too, but I don't know. I mean, there's just been so many animals that have loved me in my lifetime, and that counts too.
I love it. Also, I'm a brand new puppy mom, and I will need advice as soon as you have,
Oh, you tell
whenever
me
you want to send it.
what is it, a boy or a girl? Is it male
It's
or
a
female?
boy. It's a
Okay.
boy.
How old?
It's a little mini 10 weeks.
Golden retriever? Did you
Golden
say it's a
doodle.
golden? 10 weeks. Is he anxious? Is he eating the what's your biggest problem?
He's eating. He's kind of anxious, but it's more like he has no fear. So he just jumps off of things, which
Okay,
makes,
you just have to tire him, walk him more times that you're walking him.
see, I knew that you would have an answer,
You just
and
have to
I am
walk him a
going to do
lot.
that.
Play a
Yeah,
lot.
he's got a lot of,
Send the ball, you spend the time to play some, and then he'll calm down later.
yeah, fingers crossed. He's adorable. I'll have to send pictures later.
Okay.
So next question. Josh D. Soleil, you've you've wanted to be an actress for a long time, which is true. You've known for a very long time that that is what you wanted to do. What would young Salma say to you at this moment? What would she think of your success?
Well, she would say, about freaking time. That's what she would say. But what I would say to her would be, you idiot, you don't even want to be an actress. I don't think that I love acting, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to be part of films. I think in
Mm,
my next part, I want to direct, but it wouldn't even cross my mind because you had no, already it was impossible to think that you would be an actor. At that time, it was impossible to think that you want to write or direct or produce. Not if you were kind of cute, you know? And another thing that I would say to her is like, because I really didn't want people to think I was sexy. I wanted people to think I was a good actress and I was smart and all these things. But you see, I made the most with what I had and I used it. But I would say to her now, shut up and don't complain. When you get to your 50s, you're going to wish they were still thinking you were a sex symbol. It starts like, you start like, it used to bother me like, no, I don't want them to think that I am pretty or that I want them to think I'm a good actress. I'm like, oh, I want them to think that I am pretty or sexy. I'm a good actress. But if they don't think I'm a good actress, I still want them to think I'm pretty or sexy.
I will say that I personally think you are both, and a lot of
Thank
people would
you.
still
Thank you. Thank
agree.
you.
So next question. Oh my God, DJ Judy. You've played some iconic roles in your career, but being part of the Marvel Universe is pretty cool. I agree.
Pretty
How
cool.
does it feel to see folks cosplay and dress like your character?
I love that. My character was actually male in the comics. And so they made it a woman so that I can play it. And I really wanted to know if anybody dressed like Ajak this Halloween. I couldn't find that many. I couldn't find anyone that when Halloween came that dressed like Ajak. And I hope that next year still somebody dresses up like Ajak because it meant so much to me when I went to the premiere and I saw all these people dressed as Ajak and this whole family of girls, the mother and the three daughters, they were all Ajaks. And so that was really moving. That was really moving. And I hope that maybe everyone, but especially the kids, maybe they think about being leaders in the future and a different kind of leader in the future.
Oh, I love that. All right, so Sam off the record, if you could go back and change anything in regard to your career, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. I would maybe skip a couple of the movies that I have done. I will tell you
I
something that you're gonna like this. I I was very lazy. I've always been a little bit lazy with the exercising. But when I was young, I was extra lazy. I was completely lazy because I had the kind of genes that it looked like I exercised, but I didn't. And so they called me to do an audition and then another audition and a screen test for a movie called The Matrix. Okay. And they were down to four and I was in there. And at this point, they brought some specialists, Asian specialists, to make us do the test for the action. And when I arrived there, the translator said to me, I had some sweats. Took out my sweatshirt and I was staying in my t-shirt and sweatpants. And they said after a little bit, okay, warm up because they were working with all of us at the same time. And I went and I put my sweatshirt back on and sat down. So what you doing sitting there? I said, "No, I'm waiting. I told you to warm up." I put my sweatshirt, start running. And I started running and I couldn't even finish the gym. I was like, and turns out I can do the stunts I can do, but once or twice because I don't have them. So I didn't get that job. I could do it, huh? But they said this one, she can do it, but she can only give you one take or two takes. And she's never exercised in her life. I was agile, coordinated, flexible, everything. But I just never had the discipline. So what I would do different, it's I would be more disciplined in certain areas that I took for granted. Nice question. I told you my matrix story.
I like
That
this
would have been
Matrix
a good
story.
one. That would have
That
been a
was,
good one to get.
well, you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, laziness is not going to get you very far in any. I was not lazy with my brain, but I was a little bit, lazy with the body.
Exercise is not for everybody. But oh, last question. We have one more question. Um, the NYC film chick. Here we go. What is one valuable lesson you've learned from your illustrious career?
When you're doing any kind of work, you never know if it's going to work or not. You never know
Mm,
if it's going to be successful or not. So for all the stress that we put ourselves through it, make sure you enjoy the ride.
mm.
Find the joy in everything you do, because that's really what life is. Even the moment of success is so fast, when you feel it, and then it's the next thing. So no matter what you do, success is really the ability to be happy where you are and be excited about growing. So enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. We're gonna be stressed. It's okay. Choose the stress that you want in your life. I want the stress of, yeah, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna not happen? That's all good. But make friends in the journey. Because sometimes it doesn't work, but you have friends forever. So that was a successful thing you did. Sometimes it works, but it was traumatic. But if it's even things that are traumatic, just enjoy the simple things that you find in your way, across the way, like, everything, like I was telling you, oh, I love your space. I love your hair. It's not just about what I'm going to say. It's human interconnection and your possibility of understanding who you are better and better and growth and trying to be better, not just professionally. So that's what I've learned in my career. I have found the people who don't do that are not happy people, and some of them are very successful. And the people who do that, you cannot always be happy. I'm not saying, but if you're
Yeah.
sad, then try to learn about the sadness. Try to be kind with yourself. Just stay present in the journey, and then
Yeah.
that will make you more proud than anything else.
I love it. This has been absolutely amazing. I know the fans are just so excited to hear from you. Thank you for making the time. Thank you
My
for joining
pleasure.
us. You're app and I know you have a lot more stuff. Is there anything else that folks should be looking forward to coming up? They should be watching for. I am sure you have a handful of things. I know at least one thing's in post production.
No, I'm not gonna tell you to. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I already told you what to do. Angelique asked me only questions about. I know even the fans what to do, what not to do. I think you've had enough. Um, but don't miss Eternals because after all this conversation, I know if you have not seen it, hey, go check it out.
This is great. Thank you so much. We'll see
Thank
y'all
you
next
so much.
time.
Thank you.